Rome was a city built by war, and power was its ultimate prize. In this world of endless struggle and constant fight, one man rose higher than all others, standing above kings, armies, and nations. His name was Julius Caesar. He was not only a general but also a master of politics, a speaker who could command crowds, and a visionary who could see far beyond his time. He was adored by the masses, worshipped by his soldiers, and feared by his rivals. His story is one of ambition, war, betrayal, and destiny. From the beginning, Caesar's path was marked by both privilege and danger. Julius Caesar was born in 100 BCE, living 55 years. He came from the Julian clan, a noble family that traced its ancestry back to the goddess Venus. This gave him prestige but not wealth. Rome at the time was torn by rival factions. Powerful men fought for control of the Senate, and violence often filled the streets. For a young Caesar, survival meant being clever, ambitious, and willing to take risks. As a teenager, Caesar faced his first great test. The dictator Sulla came to power, and he demanded that Caesar abandon his wife Cornelia, whose family opposed him. Caesar refused. It was a dangerous act of defiance, one that could have cost him his life. Sulla chose not to kill him, but he gave a warning. This young man has the spirit of many Mariuses inside him, meaning he could be as ambitious, clever, and dangerous as Gaius Marius ever was. Even at that age, Caesar was recognized as someone who would one day shake the foundations of Rome. When still in his 20s, Caesar was captured by pirates while sailing across the Mediterranean. They demanded a ransom. Caesar, with fearless pride, told them their price was too low. He insisted they raise it, declaring his life was worth far more. During his captivity, he joked with them, recited poetry to them, and promised them that once free he would hunt them down. The pirates laughed, but when the ransom was paid and Caesar was released, he returned with ships, captured the pirates, and had them executed. This was no empty boast. It showed the world who he was, a man of daring action, unshaken by fear, and relentless in vengeance. Back in Rome, Caesar rose in politics. To win the people, he gave grand games and festivals, paying out of his own pocket, even sinking into debt. He spoke with passion in the courts and the Senate, winning fame as both a lawyer and an orator. His speeches were known for their clarity, persuasion, and ability to sway public opinion, and he became one of Rome's most respected public figures. He understood that power came not only from armies, but from the hearts of the people. To gain influence, he built an alliance with two of Rome's most powerful men, Pompey the Great, the celebrated general, and Marcus Crassus, the richest man in Rome. This alliance, known as the First Triumvirate, gave Caesar immense political power and influence. Formed with Pompey and Crassus in 60 BCE, it helped him secure key military commands, pass important legislation, and gain wealth and loyal supporters. But Caesar's true glory came not in the Senate, but on the battlefield. He was given command in Gaul, a wild land filled with tribes beyond Rome's northern frontier. For nearly 10 years he fought there. His campaigns became legend. He defeated vast coalitions of enemies, built bridges across the mighty Rhine River, and even crossed the sea to invade Britain, a land barely known to Romans. Each victory brought him treasure, slaves, and fame, while expanding Rome's territory and earning him loyal soldiers and widespread admiration. His soldiers adored him, for he marched with them, ate with them, and shared their dangers. He called them comrades, not just soldiers. Their loyalty to him was absolute. But in Rome, Caesar's growing power alarmed the Senate. They feared he would turn his legions against them. When his term in Gaul ended, they demanded he return to Rome without his army. To obey would mean losing power. To resist meant civil war. On a cold night in 49 BC, Caesar stood at the banks of the Rubicon River. He knew crossing it with his army was rebellion, but he also knew there was no turning back. With steady resolve, he marched across. The words that became famous were, "The die is cast." Caesar said this when he crossed the Rubicon River, breaking the rules and starting a war he could not stop. Civil war erupted. Caesar advanced swiftly into Italy, and Pompey, once his ally, fled with his supporters. The struggle spread across the Mediterranean world. Caesar pursued Pompey to Greece, where they clashed in mighty battles. Pompey was defeated and fled again, this time to Egypt. But there he was, betrayed and murdered before Caesar arrived. When he saw the detached head of his old ally and rival, he wept, not only for Pompey but also for the world they had once ruled together. In Egypt, Caesar encountered Cleopatra, the brilliant and ambitious queen. She sought his support in her own struggle for power. Caesar was captivated by her intelligence, beauty, and charisma. Their alliance was both political and personal. Julius Caesar and Cleopatra restored her to the Egyptian throne and had a son, Caesarion. He became co-ruler with his mother and was the last pharaoh of Egypt before being killed as a teenager. Their romance would echo through history as one of the most legendary unions of the ancient world. Returning to Rome, Caesar was welcomed as a hero. He was made dictator, first for a limited time, then for life. He enacted reforms that gave land to the poor, relieved debts, expanded citizenship, and strengthened the calendar with the Julian system that still shapes our time today. To the people, he was a savior. To his soldiers, he was a living legend. But to the senators, he was a tyrant in disguise. Rome had expelled kings centuries earlier, and many believed Caesar's power threatened to destroy the Republic forever. Whispers of conspiracy grew louder. Senators who once praised him now feared him. Even Brutus, whom Caesar loved as if he were his own son, turned against him. The plan was simple: to strike before he could make himself king. On the Ides of March, in the year 44 BC, Caesar entered the Senate chamber. The conspirators gathered around him. Suddenly, knives flashed. One by one, they stabbed him, each wound a betrayal. He fought to resist, but the assault was relentless. When he saw Brutus among them, his heart broke more deeply than his body. With his last breath, he collapsed beneath the statue of Pompey, the man he once called friend and enemy alike. Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BCE. The Senate thought they had saved the Republic, but they were wrong. His death unleashed chaos as his allies and enemies fought to claim his legacy. Mark Antony rallied the people with fiery speeches. Cleopatra returned to Egypt with her son. But in the end, it was Caesar's chosen inheritor, Octavian, who rose above them all. He became Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. The Republic was gone. The empire had begun. Julius Caesar's life remains one of the most dramatic stories ever told. He was a soldier who never feared the battlefield, a politician who mastered the hearts of the people, and a visionary who dreamed of reshaping the world. His ambition lifted him to the heights of glory, but it also brought the blade of betrayal. He conquered lands, toppled rivals, and rewrote history, but in the end he could not conquer the envy and fear of men closest to him. Julius Caesar, the man who seized destiny, changed Rome forever, and left behind a legacy that still burns through the ages. Please subscribe and stay with us. History is alive, it is dark, and sometimes the monsters rule. Thanks for watching.